हम रिवाइज करने जा रहे हैं सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स का लेक्चर 2। ओके, सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट का लेक्चर 2 रिवाइज करने जा रहे हैं। सर आज का हमारा गोल है स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पिस्टिल और मेगास्पोरोजेनेसिस। हमने स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ स्टैमेन और माइक्रोस्पोरोजेनेसिस कर लिया। अब हम लोग स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पिस्टिल पढ़ेंगे और फिर मेगास्पोरोजेनेसिस पढ़ेंगे। फिर बाद में पॉलिनेशन और ब्रीडिंग डिवाइसेस एंड पॉलन पिस्टिल इंटरैक्शंस पढ़ेंगे। कॉन्सेप्ट रिवीजन, ठीक है। कॉन्सेप्ट रिवीजन है, स्पोरोफाइट गैमेटोफाइट याद ही है। पॉलन एज फूड सप्लीमेंट पता ही है, पॉलन एज फूड सप्लीमेंट। स्टैमेन देख ही लिए, स्टैमेन में बाइलॉब्ड एंथर देख ही लिए, बाइथिकस या फिर डाइथिकस देख ही लिए। यंग एंथर 4 लेयर होता है, माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया देख ही लिए। हो गया सब ये सब। ओके, नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर। इन फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर, sporophyte, flower, root, stem, leaf, all are sporophyte. Flower, we have male reproductive structure and the female reproductive structure. We had already done male reproductive structure, but we have further study about female reproductive structure. The gynosium, female reproductive part. Gynosium consists of one pistil. If gynosium having only one pistil, then it is called monocarpillary. If it has 2 pistil, then bicarpillary, more than 2 multicarpillary, and the multicarpillary can be free or fused. They can be free or fused. Okay, now stigma. Okay, we will see the pistil. In pistil there is stigma, landing platform for pollen, and there is a style. Style is hollow structure because you know that on stigma pollen grain comes, and from style it go to the ovule. There is a placenta on which ovule is attached. Ovule is also known as megasporangium, and this is called ovary vessel bulge part. ये ovary, this is ovary vessel bulge part on the top of which style present. Okay, now we can further study pistil. On the basis of number of carpel, there is single monocarpillary, and the example of monocarpillary we had already studied in morphology, that is Fabaceae, mango and the coconut. The 2 that is bicarpillary, that is free apocarpus and the fused syncarpus. AM Apocarpus michaeli we had already studied in morphology, and the syncarpus papaver. Okay, fused syncarpus example mustard and brinjal, and the free apocarpus example rose and the lotus. Okay, now this is the diagram of NCERT. Here it is hilum on which the ovule is connected to the funicle. There is a pore called micropyle, and the end towards micropyle is called micropylar pole. This is outer integument, and this is inner integument, and this is nucellus, and this is embryo sac. Okay, and look at this carpels, 2 much carpels, that is multicarpillary. Apocarpus, this is the example of apocarpus multicarpillary. Okay, and this is example of papaver syncarpus. Okay, now look at this stigma, style, and the ovary, and ovary is attached to the thalamus. Look at this stigma, landing platform for the pollen, and the style conducting from this it help in conduction of pollen from the stigma to the ovary or the ovule. Okay, look at this first figure, a dissected flower of hibiscus showing pistil, and the other floral parts have been removed part. Hibiscus plants का dissected flower है, only we are watching pistil and other parts are removed. And the second multicarpillary syncarpus pistil of papaver, and this is syncarpus pistil of papaver multicarpillary, and the multicarpillary apocarpus gynosium of michaeli are diagrating. और ये एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल का ये डायग्राम है, ये डायग्राम, दिस डायग्राम बिलोंग्स टू एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल, ovary and the ovule. Look at this, stigma, style, ovary, ovary wall pericarp, and the chamber locule in the ovary, placenta, this is called placenta. Okay, on the placenta there is a funicle, from there ovule is connected. Ovule also called microsporangium, no megasporangium, this is rot, megasporangium. ओके, ठीक है. दिस इज ओव्यूल एंड दिस इज फॉनिकल, दिस इज पिस्टिल एंड दिस इज ओवरी. female flower part we call it as pistil, and it consists of ovary. In ovary there is a chamber, and in chamber there is a placenta, and there is ovule which is present or which is connected to the placenta with the help of funicle. Okay, number of ovule. अगर if we have single number of ovule, then we have example wheat, paddy and the mango. If we have many ovule, then we have watermelon, orchids and the papaya. Structure of ovule, we all in that NCERT diagram, ovule structure is anatrophous, and then which is most common ovule, and here is also an anatrophous ovule, micropyle and the funicle and the hilum, megaspore mother cell, outer integument, same diagram which is drawn by hand. Now look at this, there is another type of another structure of ovule, orthotropous. Look at this orthotropous, micropyle belongs to up, and the funicle and micropyle both are them straight. Okay, name of ovule, microsporangium, most common type anatrophous in angiosperm. Hilum, point of attachment of funicle on the body of ovule, funicle stalk which attach the ovule to the placenta. There is integuments, envelope or the protective layer which includes the nucellus. There is two in number, that's why we called bitegmic. Later it forms seed coat. Integuments, later it form seed coats. There is a micropyle, place where the integument is absent. Micropyle, place where is the integument is absent. Micropyle, place where the integument is absent. Micropyle, place where the integument is absent. Okay. Now nucellus. Nucellus is diploid tissue inside integument, provide nutrition to the developing embryo. Nucellus is one of the diploid tissue which is inside in the integument, and it provide nutrition to the developing embryo sac. Megaspore mother cell, which is also diploid, it developed from the nucellus. Megaspore mother cells develops from the nucellus towards the micropylarine. It is that cell which show meiosis. मेगास्पोर मदर सेल्स show meiosis. ये meiosis करेगा फिर मेगास्पोर बनाएगा. Now we are going to study the type of ovule, and we already know that anatrophous is the most common type of ovule, and we have some another type of ovule which is not so important, but we can see what is this. First of all, orthotropous ovule, and in the orthotropous, micropyle and the funicle which is in a straight line. There is no we can say the 0-degree angle or the 180-degree angle. Orthotropous, I think so 180 is better. And in the anatrophous there is a V shape. Anatrophous there is a V shape. Okay, and the hemitrophous it is a 90-degree. Campylotropous and the amphitrophous. Amphitrophous horseshoe shape होता है. There is amphitrophous, the horseshoe shape. How gametes form. Now we are going to study the megasporogenesis, from where we get how gametes form. First of all, we had already know about that nucleus forms the megaspore mother cells, and after that megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis to form the megaspore. That is in the 4 number, but one is, you know that better. Megaspore to embryo sac, not going to be 4 megaspore we had formed from the megaspore mother cells, but one is functional and other 3 degenerated. Okay, and the one functional megaspore undergo mitosis, several mitosis, and form the embryo sac, and embryo sac we call it as a female gametophyte. embryo sac को हम लोग female gametophyte कहेंगे. Okay, now let us come to the diagram. It is ovary, okay, and this is the placenta. Look at this, this is placenta and this is the funicle, and it is the example of anatropous of you. Okay, now we are going to megasporogenesis. Megasporogenesis, one of the cell of the nucleus close to the micropyle and act as megaspore mother cells. Megasporogenesis, we are going to study megasporogenesis. One of the cell of the nucleus close to the micropyle act as a megaspore mother cell, size increases. Megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis to form haploid megaspore. मेगास्पोर मदर सेल्स म्योसिस में जाएगा और फिर 4 हैप्लॉइड मेगास्पोर बनाएगा. जैसे कि हम लोग वी हैड ऑलरेडी स्टडीड दैट द न्यूक्लियस अंडरगो आई थिंक सम माइटोसिस और जो भी हो या फिर डिफरेंशिएशन, एंड वन ऑफ द बेस्ट न्यूक्लियस सेल्स undergo differentiation and form megaspore mother cells, and after that megaspore mother cells undergo meiosis and it form, first of all meiosis 1 occur and it forms 2 haploid cell and the dyad of cells. After that meiosis 2 is occur and the 4 haploid megaspore is formed. Only one of the megaspore is functional, and that's why we call this as monosporic development. Okay, now we are going to see what happened to the functional megaspore and how the functional megaspore form female gametophyte, that is embryo sac. Megaspore only functional megaspore, and the rest of the 3 megaspore degenerated. After that functional megaspores occur or undergo mitosis. Okay, after that it comes with the 2 nuclei stage, and the free nuclear division also occurs, and the 3 successive mitosis occurs. 3 successive mitosis occurs. First it formed 4 nuclei stage, after that it formed 8 nuclei stage. After that cytokinesis occurs and finally formed the embryo sac or the female gametophyte. And female gametophyte having the 3 cell and the antipodal and the 3 cell, that is egg cell or the female gamete, or 7 cell 8 nucleated structure. Look at these 3 cells, all the 3 cells, and look at this. Okay, and look at these 3 cells. Okay, and all the 3 cells on the chalazal end are antipodal. Look at this central cell which having 2 nuclei, and look at this synergid 2 cell is synergid which having the filiform apparatus, and the on middle it is called the egg cell or female gametophyte, and full whole body having 2 synergid and egg cell are called egg apparatus. Okay, now we are going to study the structure of female gametophyte. And look at this chalazal end, there is an antipodal cell which is haploid, and then in the central cell having the 2 polar nuclei. After that 2 polar nuclei fuses and the secondary nucleus is formed. Okay, egg apparatus 2 synergid plus egg cell, and similar to archegonium. Look at these synergids, egg cells, female gametophyte, filiform apparatus, guide entry of the pollen tube. Now we are going to study about detail of female gametophyte. Now we are going to study details of the female gametophyte. Okay, number of cells, there is 7 cells and 8 nucleus. Okay, and in 7 cells largest central cell and the gamete is called egg cells. Okay, ploidy of the cell, each cell haploid. In female gametophyte each cell is haploid. Number of gamete, single cell, egg cell non-motile, egg cell not motile, single cell egg cell non-motile, synergy 2 micropylar end, synergid, we have two synergid cells, and it is present at the micropylar end and a base of cellular thickenings that is called piliform apparatus. And we called both two synergid and egg cell called commonly as egg apparatus. And in egg apparatus we have three cells, one egg cell and two synergid cell, common purpose in the fertilization. Now we are going to study the central cell. Central cells, two polar nuclei, latter give secondary nucleus, synergid and the polar nuclei. Now we are going to glance at NCERT part. Okay, we are going to study the pistil, megasporangium, that is ovule, and the embryo sac. Now the gynosium represent the female reproductive part of the flower. Gynosium, we already know that the gynosium is the female reproductive part of the flower. In this line there is no any extraordinary words. Now the second line, the gynosium may consist of a single pistil. We have already done. If we have a single pistil, then we call it as monocarpillary, or we have more than one pistil, then we have called multicarpillary. And we also done that when there are more than one pistil, may be fused or may not be fused, or may be free. Then fused we call syncarpus and the free we call apocarpus. There is also, we had example, apocarpus, that is Michelia, and syncarpus, that is, I think so, Rosacea, I think so. Each pistil has three parts, and we had already studied that pistil has three parts, that is the stigma, which is the landing platform, and the style, which is the long elongated cylinder part beneath the stigma, and is called in and it helps in the conduction of the pollen from the stigma to the ovary. And the basal bulb part of the pistil is the ovary, and inside the ovary there is a ovarian cavity or the locule. Okay, and the placenta is located inside the ovarian cavity. Placenta is located inside the ovarian cavity. Okay, recall the definition, the types of placenta. We had already studied about the placentation in the morphology chapter, okay, in class 11. Now, arising from the placenta are the megasporangia, commonly called the ovules. As we know that from in placenta, ovules are connected with the help of funicle. The number of ovules in an ovary may be 1. If number of ovules may be in the one or too many. If it is 1, then example are wheat, paddy and the mango. And if we have many ovules, then papaya, watermelon and the orchids. You have already observed that in the day-to-day life, that you have ever eaten the papaya or the watermelon and they have too many seeds, which represents that there are too many ovules. That's why they have too many seeds. Okay, and you already know that ovule becomes seed after the fruit formation. Okay, now we are going to study the megasporangium. Ovule. Let us familiarize ourselves with the structure of typical angiosperm ovule. Okay, the ovule is a small structure. Ovule एक छोटा सा structure है, attached to the placenta by means of a stalk called the funicle. वो placenta से attached होता है और वो funicle से, ठीक है. और the body of the ovule fuses with the funicle in the region called hilum. और हमारा body जो है सो वो ovule का, the body of the ovule funicle के साथ attached होता है in the region called hilum, and thus hilum represent the junction between ovule and the funicle. और hilum जो है सो वो represent करता है junction between ovule and the funicle. Each ovule has 1 or 2 protective envelopes. Each ovule have 1 or 2 protective envelopes called integument, and integument after that it forms seed coat. Okay, integuments encircle the nucellus except at the tip where an opening called the microphylla. Integument is not a continuous, it is absent at tip, that is called micropyle, is organized. Opposite to the micropylar end is the chalaza, representing the basal part of the ovule. Okay, now we are going to study further. Enclosed within the integument is a mass of cells called the nucellus. Integument के अंदर mass of cells है, उसको हम लोग nucellus कहते हैं. Cells of the nucellus have abundant reserve food materials. Nucellus cells के पास बहुत ही ज़्यादा food materials हैं जो कि reserved हैं. Located in the nucellus is the embryo sac. Embryo sac is located in the nucellus. or the female, we can also call female gametophyte to the embryo sac. In other words, we can say that embryo sac or the female gametophytes are the similar things. An ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from the megaspore. Okay, now we are going to study the megasporogenesis. The process of formation of megaspore for the megaspore mother cells is called megasporogenesis. Ovules generally differentiate a single megaspore mother cells in the micropylar region of the nucellus. Look at this. Generally, ovules differentiate a single megaspore mother cells in the micropylar region of the nucellus. It is a large cell containing dense cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus. न्यूक्लियस के पास लार्ज सेल होता है, उसके पास डेंस साइटोप्लाज्म होता है और प्रोमिनेंट न्यूक्लियस होता है. द मेगास्पोर मदर सेल अंडरगो meiotic division. And what is the importance of megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis? Meiosis result in the production of 4 megaspore. Meiosis result production of 4 megaspores. Meiosis result. Now we are going to study the female gametophyte. In majority of flowering plants, one of the megaspores is functional. In majority of the flowering plants, one of the megaspore is functional. Look at this. In majority of flowering plant, one of the megaspore is functional. We already know that one of the megaspore is functional while the other 3 are degenerate. Only the functional megaspore develop into the एम्ब्रियो सैक और द फीमेल गैमेटोफाइट. हम लोग ये भी जानते हैं कि जो फंक्शनल मेगास्पोर होगा वही डेवलप करेगा फीमेल गैमेटोफाइट में और एम्ब्रियो सैक में. दिस मेथड ऑफ एम्ब्रियो सैक फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम अ सिंगल मेगास्पोर इट टर्म्स मोनोस्पोरिक डेवलपमेंट. दिस मेथड ऑफ एम्ब्रियो सैक फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम अ सिंगल मेगास्पोर इज कॉल्ड मोनोस्पोरिक डेवलपमेंट. What will be the ploidy of nucellus? That is 2n. Megaspore mother cell, that is 2n. Functional megaspore, that is n. Female gametophyte, that is n. Okay, look at this diagram. Look at this micropylar end and the megaspore mother cells which is developed from the nucellus, and it is nucellus. Okay, and the micropylar end, nucellus, and the megaspore diode is formed. After that micropylar end में megaspore tetrad is formed. After that diagram is nice. Okay, thank you.